welcome everybody to Spotlight. I'm your host, Jennifer Somerville, and today I have such an inspiring author. Her name is Gingerberg, and her book is Patchwork Family. And without any further ado, we're gonna bring her in. Hi, Ginger. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here and spending some time with us here on Spotlight. So, I cannot wait to get into your book, Patchwork Family. So, what inspired you to start writing your book?
So my book is all about my family that we grew first through biological kids and then through foster care and then finally through adoption. And I wanted to share our story with others so that they could see kind of what our family looks like and what other families that do foster care and adoption would look like.
How long have you been writing?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Absolutely. How long have you been writing?
So I wrote this first book about 2 years ago is when I started the writing process. And that's the first time I've ever written an actual book. I mean, when I was younger, I used to write, all the time, like cute little stories that I'd give my friends, but nothing ever that, I wanted to publish or share with the world at large.
So this is your first book?
Yep. And I have a second one that's all edited and everything. I'm just working to save up enough money for illustrations and get it printed.
That's amazing. And is your second book also related to foster care and blended families?
Yes. So the first book is about our family, and it's told from my oldest biological son's perspective on how our family grew. And my second book is actually based on my oldest adopted daughter, who's now 13. And it's her chance to kind of tell her story. And she was in the foster care system for quite a while before she came to live with us, and we adopted her. And so I had her help me decide what of her story she wanted me to share and how she wanted me to share it. But it's still about our family. It's just kind of taking a different perspective, a different viewpoint.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So when you say you adopted children, are they from other family members that you adopted the children from, or are they were in the foster care system? Like, did you know the children prior to adopting them?
So we did not know them before they came to live with us in foster care. But then both of them we fostered for quite a while before we ended up adopting them. But no, it's one of those. In fact, my oldest adopted daughter one time mentioned, she's like, man, like my youngest adopted son, like I would have probably never met him just in life in general if it wasn't for the fact. And now we're, brother and sister. And so,
That's beautiful.
We never actually fostered anyone that we knew beforehand. They were all, just new. We just met them like when they came to live with us. So
that is so beautiful. So what is your background story? Are you a teacher? What do you do besides writing?
So I'm actually a high school math teacher. And
I knew it. I felt that you have such a sweet spirit about you that I can tell you just love kids and kids love you right back.
I definitely love kids. Most kids like me, but sometimes the math kind of gets in the way. They don't always like the math.
It's blurred a little bit when you start doing MC square minus divided.
Yeah,
I'm not big on math either, but it's nice when you have a nice math teacher to just kind of that will listen, and you seem like that person that's just so cheerful and awesome. And I'm pretty sure you make math super fun and easy to understand. Hopefully.
I try to. And I have certain puns that I wait all year because they go with a certain lesson. And when I get to tell them my pun, and they're like, I'm like, but you're going to remember it. You're going to remember this day when Bird said that horrible, stupid pun. It's going to stick in your brain. So
that is amazing. So Math teacher and a writer. That is amazing. That's amazing how you could mix them both together. I would think like probably a literature teacher. That's what I was thinking. But math, that's pretty cool. What was your favorite book as a child?
Definitely the book about a monster at the end of the story. My mom would do all of the like voices. She'd pretend like the pages were heavy. I think I made her read that book to me like 10,000 times. That was my favorite book growing up.
That is so awesome. And I love that you mentioned that you would make her read the book about 10, 15 times, because I think as children we grow attached to certain books, and no matter how many times you read a story, it just speaks to you, you know. And I think that that is so amazing that you remember that story as a child. My favorite book was Danny and the Dinosaur. I don't know if you've ever heard of it before.
I've heard of it, but that's not one that we had growing up.
Oh, okay. That was my friend. So awesome. So moving along. So what do you hope your readers to take away from your book? It's a powerful message, and it's very inspiring. So what do you, because we can write, because I'm an author as well, so we can write with a certain perspective, right? And but the readers will pick up something totally different.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it that you hope that readers can get from you, from that passionate place that you wrote the book from?
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Well, I really hope that the book, there's a few different things. It kind of depends on who the reader is. If the reader is a kiddo from foster care, I want them to feel like their story is being told, like they have representation. If it's a family that's considering foster care, I want it to be a resource they can use to kind of start the conversation of what that might look like, the hurt that might come, but also the joys. And if it's a family that doesn't have any interest in foster care, just to help them maybe better understand and talk about foster families and what that looks like, so that when they encounter families that foster kiddos from foster care, they kind of understand a little bit better, or at least they've thought about that conversation just starting. So I think a lot of times parents don't really even know how to start those conversations. So this can give them a chance to talk about, like, okay, how did Nick feel when the kiddos left? How did he feel when this kiddo ended up being a forever part of his family? And they can talk about that.
I think that is very beautiful, and I think it makes it very real for children, and make it very real for people reading your book. Because, like you said, there's a lot of people that even want to adopt. They don't know how they play a part in adopting children that they don't know, or how does the system work, or if children they adopt, will they ever feel loved by a stranger, you know? So it's so important. Like, these are thoughts that they're very real thoughts that people have. So having your book, I think is so important to see the beauty of having just having love. It doesn't matter where your background is. It doesn't matter your culture. It doesn't matter skin complexion. It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, somebody loves you and welcomes you into their home, and you now become a part of something so much bigger. So I think that is a really, really beautiful and humbling message that you have.
And actually, I hope you don't mind. So what you just said pretty much almost exactly echoes what the last 2 pages of the book say, and I kind of wanted to read that. So
okay, so let me hold on. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna step out and let you take the spotlight.
Oh, okay.
I think that was a perfect segue, Ginger.
Awesome.
All right, my loves. So I'm gonna step out on that note and let Ginger's heart pour out through her words in her book, Patchwork Family. Be right back.
Well, thank you guys so much for letting me share my book with you and my story. So I'm going to read the first 3 pages and then the last 2 pages. so you can kind of see the heart and the story behind it. So the first page says, "My name is Nick, and this is my quilt. This is my favorite quilt. It keeps me warm at night, and it was made by my grandmother. It also reminds me of my family. My mom is always telling me that our family is a patchwork quilt, stitched together with love. I treasure my unique family and how we have all come together. I enjoy telling the story of my family. My parents met at a wedding and then fell in love and got married. They are the first two patches of our family quilt." And then the book goes on to talk about how all of the other patches in our quilt got added, all the other kiddos. And then the last two pages say, "Even though we all came from different places to start, we are now a family. Like my mom always says, our love stitches us together and makes our quilt strong." And I think that last page is the basis of the book. And that's kind of a slogan when I'm at signings and stuff. I always put "love stitches us together," because I think that's so important in the premise of the whole book. I can't hear you, Jennifer.
I'm on mute. Thank you so much for sharing, Ginger. I think that was beautiful. Ginger, do you mind showing the viewers the pages that you just read and the front cover and back cover of your book?
So this is the first page.
Oh, you're frozen a little bit. We can't see it.
Is it still frozen? I apologize.
Yes. It's okay.
Technical. Well, I do have a website where I have the front cover and stuff, and they can see pictures from the inside. I don't know if that'll help.
Oh, awesome. Okay, give me 1 second and let me put the website on for you. What is your website?
It's mypatchworkfamilybook.com.
Awesome. Oh, yep. Now you're on Frozen. So now,
good. Okay.
Okay.
So here's the first page, and this is the second page where it talks a little bit more about the family. And this is the third page where it talks about my husband and I. And then when we go to the last two pages, this one's one of my favorites. It shows all the kids kind of running to the house, showing how we're all coming together. And then this shows just our family all together, how we all came together as one family. And this is what the front cover looks like. My artist did an amazing job with all the watercolors for the book.
Very beautiful.
And then the back cover has, so during the book, each of us is represented on our page. We have a patch, and then this just shows us all stitched together as a quilt.
I love it. I love it. Thank you so much, Ginger, for sharing your story, for getting personal a little bit. But we are just so thankful for you being open and making adoption and welcoming other people that may be going through a tough time, but we welcome them with love in our home. And thank you for making that experience more understandable, more relatable, and more normal through your book. We appreciate you and everything that you've done for children. And we are so thankful that you are blessing you said 2, right? You have 2 adopted children and 2 biological?
3 biological and
3
2 adopted.
So there's 5. So God bless you with your 5 beautiful babies. And thank you. So we just clap it up for you. And and you guys make sure that you order her copy of her book, My Patchwork Family. The website is right here on the screen. is www.mypatchworkfamily.com. Order your copy today. And you did say you were on Amazon?
Yes. So
Yes.
Amazon, if you just search My Patchwork Family, there's a hardcover and also an ebook.
There
And
you go.
if you have the Kindle Unlimited, it's free to read it on your ebook. So that's an option to check it out too.
There you go. So you can even get it on Kindle for free, guys. So again, thank you so much for being with us today, Ginger. We really appreciate you and your story.
Thank
Have a good night. God bless you.
you too. Thanks so much.
You're very welcome. All right, guys, and that's a wrap. Thank you so much for being with us here today. Thank you for sharing, Ginger, for being here while Ginger shared her story, My Patchwork Family. This is also a great gift for maybe family members that are thinking about adoption. This is a really great resource for them. And you met the author here live. So yeah, she has a Facebook account as well. She has her website, which is up. So if you have any questions or any concerns or anything related to adoption, I'm pretty sure she'll be open as a resource for you. And again, just make sure you support her and go and get your copy today. God bless you all and have a good night.